When people say a gun is legendary, it's usually marketing talk. But the Colt M1911 earned that label the hard way, a century on the firing line, from trench raids in World War I to tunnel fights in Vietnam, and still carried by select units today. Rugged, powerful, and shockingly simple, when everything else fails, soldiers trusted the .45. This is the story of how the 1911 became the longest-serving handgun in history. To understand the M1911, we rewind to the turn of the 20th century. The US had just emerged as a global power after the Spanish-American War. One consequence of victory, the Philippines. American troops found themselves fighting fierce local resistance in the South, notably against the Moro warriors. These fighters were fearless and, in accounts of the time, sometimes wrapped themselves in vines or ropes as crude armor and pressed attacks with terrifying resolve. American sidearms, the standard double-action .38 Colt revolvers, often failed to stop a determined Moro charge. Soldiers recounted loading entire cylinders into attackers who kept coming. The problem was clear: the army wanted a pistol with real stopping power. Bigger bullet. More momentum. More chance to end a threat with one shot. Colonel John T. Thompson, later of submachine gun fame, and Major Louis Lagarde were tasked with finding a replacement. Their tests, controversial and crude by modern standards, included ballistic trials at a Chicago slaughterhouse, firing into carcasses to study penetration and effectiveness. Their conclusion: anything smaller than a .45 simply wouldn't do. In 1907, the War Department issued a set of demanding requirements: a semi-automatic pistol, minimum 6-round magazine, easy to strip in the field, a trigger pull under 6 pounds, and above all, absolute reliability. Makers answered: Colt, Smith & Wesson, Savage, German and British entries and others. One name dominated the entry list: John Moses Browning, the genius designer who teamed with Colt. After rigorous testing, the field narrowed to two finalists: the Savage pistol and Browning's Colt design. The tests were brutal: thousands of rounds, dunking in water, packing with sand, feeding badly deformed ammo. The Savage jammed 37 times out of 6,000 rounds, respectable. The Colt? Not a single malfunction. On March 29, 1911, the Army formally adopted Browning's design, the M1911. The M1911 was purpose-built. Unloaded, it weighed about 1.1 kilograms, 2.4 pounds. Its overall length roughly 8.25 inches, barrel about 5 inches. It fired the .45 ACP, a heavy, relatively slow bullet that delivered massive energy on target. The original M1911 carried a 7-round magazine, recoil-operated, and semi-automatic. Pull the trigger, one shot, the recoil cycled the next. Early deployments included the Philippines, Veracruz, and border actions in Mexico, but the pistol's true baptism of fire came with the Great War. In 1917, America entered World War I. Trench raids, hand-to-hand combat in muddy dugouts, close quarters where lethality at short range mattered more than rate of fire. The .45's heavy punch was exactly what troops needed. Production surged, Colt subcontracted widely to meet demand. Officers received priority issue, but the pistol spread rapidly through the ranks. One famous story: Sergeant Alvin York. During his action that won the Medal of Honor, York reportedly used an M1911 in close fighting to help neutralize German positions, adding to the pistol's reputation. After the war, troops suggested tweaks. So in 1926 the Army introduced the M1911A1, shortened trigger, arched mainspring housing for grip comfort, a longer grip safety spur to prevent hammer bite, and improved sights. These modest changes made a great gun even more user-friendly. By World War II the M1911A1 was ubiquitous. Officers, NCOs, pilots, tank crews, drivers, anyone who needed a reliable sidearm in a dangerous place could be carrying one. Production exploded. Colt and several contractors turned out massive numbers, over 2 million by war's end. Despite the introduction of new small arms like the M1 carbine, the .45's stopping power kept it popular. Even German occupation forces in Norway put captured tooling to use. The Kongsberg plant produced licensed 1911s for German use, designated pistol 657N. That says something, even enemies respected the design. After WWII, the 1911 didn't retire. It fought in Korea and in Vietnam, the latter seeing a particularly visceral use: tunnel warfare. Tunnel rats, soldiers and Marines assigned to enter Viet Song tunnel complexes, needed a compact, dependable sidearm for pitch-black, cramped fights. The 1911's power and single-shot reliability made it ideal in that horror show close quarters. Through the Cold War, the pistol remained a mainstay. But by the mid-1980s the U.S. military selected a new standard sidearm, the Beretta M9, a 9mm, higher capacity, NATO standard choice. Still, the M1911 didn't vanish. Even after the official changeover, elite units and individual warriors refused to give it up. Custom 1911s remained popular with special operations forces, law enforcement, and civilian shooters. The pistol kept showing up at the most intense points of combat, a testament to a design that simply does the job. Two modern examples stand out. In 1993 in Mogadishu, Somalia, Delta Force operators Gary Gordon and Randy Shugart, defending a downed pilot and running out of rifle ammo, used M1911s in close fighting. They fought until they fell, and both were posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor. Stories like that fueled the pistol's mythic status. Today many special units still carry custom 1911 variants by companies who refine triggers, sights, and ergonomics for modern use. Collectors, competitors, and shooters worldwide still revere the 1911. More than 150 manufacturers produce interpretations from classic GI clones to competition guns. The 1911 also found a home beyond the battlefield. Texas Rangers, Border Patrol, and many police departments favored it for decades. For civilians, it became more than a tool, it became an American cultural icon. Original World War I and World War II 1911s are prized collectibles. Modern versions appear in movies, competitions, and private safes across the globe. Design simplicity and robustness. Browning's locked breech, tilting barrel system is simple and reliable. Stopping power. The .45 ACP delivers heavy energy that many shooters still prize for defensive use. Ergonomics. For many hands, the 1911's grip angle, weight, and single-action trigger make it a joy to shoot. Legacy and adaptability. It can be customized across countless platforms, from concealed carry compacts to competition race guns. Reputation. A century of combat-proven use builds trust. Soldiers and officers carry not because of nostalgia, but because the gun works when it must. From the jungles and trenches to glassy deserts and urban tight spots, the Colt M1911 has seen more history than most people. It was born of blunt necessity, a response to a battlefield problem, and evolved into a paradox, a design older than most modern armies that remains useful in the present day. The M1911 is more than metal and wood. It's the product of a specific era of firearms engineering, military need, and human stories, the moments when a single decisive shot mattered. After more than 110 years of service, it stands as the longest-serving military handgun in history, an icon forged by war, perfected by practice, and still carried by those who demand a pistol they can rely on when everything else fails.